in the Central Oregon.
Amen.
If you do not have tincture right at hand, you can use the powder of cayenne.
Yes.
And put it under the tongue.
Yes, yes. She's saying if you don't have the tincture, you can use the powder under the tongue. But what I was saying earlier is a lot of people will not take the powder.
Especially that cayenne.
Yes, because it's hot, so you can just slip in this little thing and squirt it real fast. Okay, so now do you guys have all this? So what are the signs and symptoms of anaphylactic shock? Yes, they say I can't breathe and they're starting to get hives and they're itching. Call 911 and do whatever you can for them. Yes? Did you have a question? Oh, okay.
What exactly is anaphylactic shock?
Anaphylactic shock, okay, I didn't bring my Taylor's dictionary with me. Anaphylactic shock is a type of, there's different types of shocks. This is a type of shock that's mainly dealing with some type of allergic reaction to something. It's like the histamine in the body is overreacting.
Close up, they can't breathe?
Yes, they can't breathe. It literally it actually swells in there. They get swelling. There was some show that came out years and years ago, and they were showing what can happen to people who have like allergic reactions to shellfish and stuff. And within minutes, my girlfriend's daughter's ear will swell up like this. People's lips will get like this. Swelling is another sign. So yeah, but that's the high.
The most dangerous one is the tightening.
Right, the tightening around the throat. When they say that tightening around the throat, we're talking a matter of minutes. We have to save their life. So I will call 911 if I need to. So but those are the signs and symptoms. Okie dokie. Now, so I erased it. I shouldn't erase it. So we have milk. What was number 2?
Fish.
Okay. Number 3 is shellfish. Does anyone have any idea what number 4 is?
Nuts?
That's at the bottom of our list.
Okay.
We're dealing with the major culprits. Eggs is the number 4 culprit. Eggs are a culprit when it comes to allergies. One egg can inflame the body for 30 days, at least 30 days. It will keep your joints and your blood inflamed. As a matter of fact, it's in this book. You know what happened to the eggs several months ago? They were recalled, right? Because they had what? Salmonella, E. coli. How many eggs were recalled? 500 million. That's a lot of eggs. That's a 500 million eggs. Do you know why? Yes, this was about 2-3 months ago. Maybe 9 weeks ago. Yes, it was on the news. First they said 350 million, then they said 500 million. Do you know why eggs are a major culprit for salmonella and E. coli poisoning? What is on the outside of the egg?
The shell.
Shell. Do you know that that shell is porous and it has over 8,000 porous holes? Now, where does the eggs come out of? It comes out of the same place that the little chicken does number 2. So when that fecal matter touches that shell, it can do what? Penetrate. It's porous. It can go into it. That's why a large number of these eggs are infected and contaminated. Now, what's right underneath the shell?
The egg.
What part?
White.
The white. Do you know the white is allergenic? It's the white. See, people think the white part of the egg is the best part. That's the part of the egg that people are most allergic to. But then the yolk is what? Yolk causes high cholesterol. Right. Exactly. Now, there are people today who are saying that in 2010 it's okay to eat eggs because they read Counsels on Diets and Foods. And what did we learn this is? It's a compilation, right? Is it written in chronological order? No, it's not written in chronological order. So they'll read something she wrote in 1865 and try to pertain it to 145 years later. You can't do that. So I want to read a few quotes. This is, and remember the health message is progressive, right? This is Counsels on Diets and Foods, page 359, paragraph 2. And I'm going to read 3 quotes to you to see what she said about it being progressive. And you tell me if we're in those times. She says, we see, now this was written in 1901, we see that cattle are becoming greatly diseased. When did she write this?
1901.
So what about 109 years later? They were diseased in her day. What about in our day? We see that cattle are becoming greatly diseased. The earth itself is corrupted, and we know that the time will come when it will not be best to use milk and eggs. She says here, but that time has not come yet. So people use that quote and say, see, that time has not come yet. But when did she write this? 1901. Let's keep listening to what she said. We know that when it does come, the Lord will provide. The question is asked, meaning much to all concerned. Will God set a table in the wilderness? I think the answer may be yes. God will provide food for his people. In all parts of the world, provision will be made to supply the place of milk and eggs. How many parts of the world did she say?
All.
Would that include Africa?
Of course.
Would that include Chile?
Yeah.
Would that include Ecuador?
All.
Because there are some people saying that these items, food, and we'll be learning that that's progressive. There was a time people couldn't afford it, but she said that it had become where all the countries are accessible to these food items. Okay? And the Lord will let us know when the time comes to give up these articles. So here she says, it's not time yet in 1901, but the Lord will let us know when the time comes. Now let's read to the next quotes. See if those times have come. This next one is Testimonies, Volume 7, page 135, paragraphs 1 through 3. Volume 7, page 135, paragraphs 1 through 3. Let the diet reform be progressive. Let the people be taught how to prepare food without the use of milk or butter. Now she wrote this in 1902. Tell them that the time will soon come when there will be no safety, no what?
Safety.
If there's a recall of 500 million eggs, is that safety?
No.
No. She said the time will come when there will be no safety in using eggs, milk, cream, or butter, because disease in animals is increasing in proportion to the increase of wickedness among men. Let me ask you a question. Are the animals completely diseased today?
Yeah.
She said that would be the sign to give these items.
To test.
The time is near. She said near. That was 108 years ago. The time is near when, because of the iniquity of the fallen race, the whole animal creation will groan under the diseases, the curse that curse our earth. She said the time is near. Soon we should give it. Do you think 108 years later that time has come?
Absolutely.
Have we been given those signs? Let me read one more quote. This is Ministry of Healing, page 320 and 321. This is Pathways to Health and Happiness, also known as Ministry of Healing. And this can be found on page 104 of Pathways to Health and Happiness, or page 321 of Ministry of Healing. She says the diet reform should be progressive. As disease in animals increase, the use of milk and eggs will become more and more unsafe. Kind of sounds like what I just read, doesn't it? An effort should be made to supply their place with other things that are healthful and inexpensive. So not only should it be healthful, it should be what? Because this health reform, if we tell people you need to be plant-based diet, there's a lot of poor people. They can't afford to go to your native foods and your Veggie Delights and those other restaurants. We have to teach it to them in the most inexpensive method of living. Okay? Okay, so it goes on here to say, the people everywhere should be taught how to cook without milk and eggs so far as possible, and yet have their food wholesome and palatable. 3 years later, in 1905, remember in 1902, she said soon. In 1905, Which said, and in 1902 she did too. She said very soon. In 1901 soon, 1902 very soon. In 1905 she said people are to be taught how to cook without these items. So in a matter of 3 years, she said, so in 1905 she was saying that people need to be taught how to cook without these items. In 1901 she said that time was not yet. Don't be telling these people that's fanaticism if you read many things. But by 1905 she said the time had come. Now what about in 2010? So eggs is a major culprit of allergies. Okay, any flesh that gives milk will be allergenic. So a lamb, goat's milk can be allergenic because it comes from a lamb. Any flesh, it causes inflammation in the body. Okay, what do you think the next food item is? That's number 5, allergy. Now, do we teach to get off of the meat? Yes. Yes. So if you're dealing with somebody who has allergies, you got the milk, the fish, the shellfish, the eggs, the meat. Do most Americans eat all these items?
Yes.
Most Americans suffer from allergies because they're eating all the foods that are culprit of allergies. Now, something about meat. Let me see, I have something here about meat. First of all, meat causes inflammation in the body. It causes an allergic reaction and a trigger in the body. Tomorrow we'll go more into the meat. But they're saying that people who are allergic to milk, a lot of them are also allergic to meat because of the protein. It's the same protein in both of these items. Okay? Guess what number 6 is? Anyone have any idea? So we're dealing with step 1. Did you remember how many steps I said there were?
You said step 1.
Yes.
And that's as far as
There's 5 steps. We're still dealing with step 1. This is the number 1 top. These foods, all these things that I'm writing here is step 1. You eliminate these. In most cases, when you get rid of the milk, most of the time the allergies are gone. But then if it's not the milk, you go fish, shellfish, eggs, meat. This next one. Then we're going to get to step 2, 3, 4, 5. Allergies are the easiest things to treat. Okay. What about this? Do you know that the prophet of the Lord says that cheese should not even pass the lips? Do you know when cheese is made, do you know what it's coagulated with? Rennet. Rennet. And do you know the cheapest rennet is from the pig? Or they'll use the cow? Cheese is coagulated with pork. Cheese is coagulated with the intestines of a cow and a pig. People don't know that. So if they say they're vegetarians and they don't eat meat, tell them they're eating cow and pig when they eat cheese. Because that's what they coagulated with. Okay?
You said rennet?
Rennet. R-E-N-N-E-T. All right. Now, does anyone know what number 7 is?
We got to bring fruit on the table.
Additives. Name some additives for me.
Food coloring?
Okay. Name some other stuff.
Preservatives?
What about, well, additives are to give more like the flavoring,
Oh.
to enhance the flavor. What about MSG?